A surgeon with 2 decades of experience, someone who makes life or death decisions before breakfast, once wired $40,000 to a stranger who called claiming to be his bank. Not because he was careless, not because he was stupid, because in that exact moment, his brain wasn't thinking like a surgeon. It was thinking like a scared animal. And that's the part nobody tells you about scams. Intelligence was never the thing protecting you in the first place. We love the story where the victim is gullible. It's comforting. It means it could never happen to us. But scam artists don't actually target stupidity. They target something far more universal and far more dangerous. Your emotional state in a single moment of pressure. And here's the twist. The smarter you are, the more confident you tend to be in your own judgment, which means you're often less likely to pause and question something that feels urgent. Confidence, it turns out, can be a vulnerability disguised as a strength. Let's talk about how this actually works, starting with the emotion every scam is built on: urgency. Your bank account has been compromised. Your grandson is in jail and needs bail money right now. Your package is stuck in customs and will be destroyed in an hour. None of these claims are designed to be believed calmly. They're designed to short-circuit the part of your brain responsible for slow, careful thinking. Neuroscience research consistently shows that under stress, the brain shifts decision-making away from rational analysis and toward fast, instinctive reactions. Scammers aren't hacking your intelligence. They're hacking your nervous system. Then there's authority. Humans are wired from childhood to comply with people who present themselves as officials. A voice claiming to be from the IRS, a badge number recited with total confidence, a fake caller ID that says bank security line. Your brain doesn't have time to fact check a badge number while adrenaline is telling you something is seriously wrong. This is the same instinct that keeps a functioning society running smoothly, the same instinct that makes you listen to a doctor or a police officer. Scammers just borrow the costume. Now here's where it gets genuinely uncomfortable. The people scammers target most successfully aren't naive teenagers. They're often accomplished, educated, financially secure adults, because those are the people with actual money worth stealing, and because those are exactly the people least likely to believe they could ever fall for something so obvious. That disbelief is the trap. If you're convinced you're too smart to be scammed, you're less likely to build in the small pauses and second opinions that actually stop scams from working. Vulnerability isn't about IQ. It's about whether, in the heat of the moment, you give yourself permission to slow down. There's also something called the sunk cost trap, which is where things get even darker. Once someone sends the first payment, they've now invested not just money, but identity. Admitting it was a scam means admitting you were wrong. And for many people, protecting their self-image feels more urgent in that moment than protecting their bank account. So instead of stopping, they send more. Not because they're foolish, but because backing out means confronting a version of themselves they don't want to accept. So what actually works? Not intelligence, not education. The one consistent factor that stops scams in their tracks is friction, a forced pause between the emotional trigger and the action. Hanging up and calling your bank back on a number you looked up yourself. Waiting 24 hours before wiring money to anyone, no matter how urgent it feels. Telling a friend or family member what's happening out loud, because saying it to another person often breaks the emotional spell instantly. These aren't dramatic defenses, they're small, boring habits, and boring habits are exactly what beats a system designed to feel urgent and irresistible. The uncomfortable truth is that the version of you capable of falling for a scam isn't a different, dumber person. It's you, on a bad day, under pressure, moving fast. Scammers have simply gotten very good at manufacturing exactly that moment on purpose. Understanding that isn't about becoming paranoid. It's about knowing that the best defense was never being smart enough to see it coming. It was always just slowing down long enough to notice.